Good evening and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Still the online science tutor, and I'm Ogenetica Caroline, a graduate of Petroleum Engineering from the Petroleum Training Institute. I want to say a very big thank you, first of all, to our online community, to those that have subscribed to this channel. I do not take it for granted. I am most grateful. I really am honored. Thank you so much. And for those that are yet to subscribe, I do sincerely hope that at the end of this video, you're going to click on the subscribe button. It's going to mean so much to me. Alright, so this channel is the online science tutor, and I created this channel because of a burden that I had for students, because of the fact that having worked with a number of students over the years, I've been able to see that there are actually some challenges that some students face that under proper mentorship and guidance, they should not actually face them. So students have issues ranging from science is not the right thing for me, I may not have the level of intelligence required to do any of the science subjects. So there are some people that actually wanted to become doctors, but because of the fact that people have told them about so many things about how difficult science is, they have decided that, okay, so maybe I should just look for how to just read mass communication or something and go to the art classes. So this channel is actually basically to draw students from taking the wrong turn of having a change in plan and having a change in vision for their lives because they feel they are not good enough and they are not intelligent enough to cope in the sciences. Basically, science is as simple as every other thing. It's just a building block, and it's just more of your mindset that's going to become the reason why you're either going to survive or you are going to have to give up. Alright, so this week I've been pretty busy because of the fact that the Jamb is drawing so close. The Jamb exams for Nigerian students is drawing so close, and I have a couple of students that I'm working closely with to prepare them for their Jamb, and so it's really been stressful and trying to ensure, okay, look at the syllabus of Jamb, have we covered this, have we not covered this? And so a student asked a question that necessitated my creating this YouTube video today, and did you get to know what the question was? His question was, when you were writing your Jamb, like when you had less than a week before your Jamb, when you have like 3 days before your Jamb, how are you feeling? What were your feelings? What was your mindset? How are you coping? And it actually took me back memory lane, because I wrote my Jamb 2011. That's like 11 years ago. Yeah. So I wrote my Jamb 2011, and it was something that I haven't really had time to think about it, because I've not had things that make me to, think on it. But when he asked me the question, I was like, oh, really? Yeah, that's true. Whoa, because Jamb is starting on the 6th, and some of them are writing on the 6th, some are writing on the 7th, and for somebody that is your first time of writing Jamb, you're going to be wondering like, okay, what should be my feelings? First thing I'm going to say is that you have the tendency to be anxious, and it's normal. But the way you deal with that anxiety is going to determine whether the anxiety will be used by you positively or negatively. So I don't want you to be freaking out like, oh my God, Jamb is on the 6th and today is 3rd already, and there are still a ton of topics I don't think I've covered sufficiently to the way I want it. If for nothing, please know that anxiety, being worried, and being anxious is going to make you forget important things. Okay? So in as much as there's that tendency to be worried about the fact that, oh, it's going to be my first Jamb and I'm praying I score up to 300 and above because I want a course like medicine that I need to score very well. Yes, because there's going to be that anxiety, I want to deliberately take out time to ensure that you calm yourself down, okay? You decide to look at the exam and say, hey, we're going to write this and it's going to be like every other exam. Nothing is going to be different. It's not going to be something that is from space, no. Okay? So, and the syllabus is going to cover everything you've been taught from SS1 to SS3. So, first point, don't get anxious. I know that there is more probability for you to get anxious than not. Work on, even if it's a 0.001% that keeps you from being anxious, work on that percentage, okay? Alright, it's going to be a very normal exam, and especially if you've been preparing, it's not something that is out of the blue, okay? And then the second point I'm going to highlight is that if you're a science student, because this channel is geared towards science students more, but of course, everyone can use something from it. But if you're a science student, what you should be doing right now should be trying to internalize your formulas. Okay, so for example, for your physics, you should know all of your equations of motion, and you should be able to produce them off by heart. So you should be able to produce your formula by heart. For example, what I normally advise and tell my students to do is get a plain sheet of paper and write out the formulas from your head, and then cross-check it with the textbook that you have to ensure that you are good to go. But then if there is a person that can checkmate you, for example, if you have a sibling and you have an elder person that can be able to help you out, what I also advise is that you give them the textbook and you recite the formulas the same way you learned John 3:16. Yes. So you can give the textbook to a person and you are reciting and like, okay, equations of motion, V is equals to U plus AT, V squared is equals to U squared plus 2AS, S is equals to UT plus half AT squared, P1 V1 is equals to P2 V2, like that. So internalizing your formulas for these remaining 3 days, it's something that you should give attention to. Don't panic. Start internalizing your formulas. Bring them out from your head. Don't assume that you are very good with them, please, because you just might be shocked that what you think you know, you don't actually know. Okay? So internalize your formulas, and you do that for your physics, chemistry, of course mathematics, all of the subjects that you know require formulas. Write out the formulas and try to replicate them without looking at it. So that's step number 2. Step number 3. For most sciences, of course, you know that there are going to be laws. So there are some laws, for example, Sharp's law, Boyle's law, Faraday's law of electrolysis, first law, second law, Newton's laws of motion, all of those laws. Ideally, by now, you should have your laws by heart. Okay? So, if for example, you have done that already, then I'm going to also advise that you get a plain sheet of paper and try to state each law. So, by heart. So, you state it and then you cross-check with your textbook if you don't have a person that can be a check for you. But of course, if you have a sibling that can do that, you can give them the textbook and just quote the law. For example, you can just give them a textbook and you're like, okay, Sharp's law states that the volume of a given mass of gas is directly proportional to its absolute temperature in degree Kelvin, provided that pressure and other external factors are kept constant. If you do that, you just find out that if a question comes, for example, and then the question is asking you to state a law, you are able to conveniently answer the question without taking time. Okay? And then for your use of English, what I also advocate is that there are some basic laws that can also help you in use of English. For example, the aspect of use of English that has to do with stress pattern. I know we've not talked about it on the channel, but I want to believe that there are rules that you must have come across in your school days from SS1 to 3. Of course, it's part of your syllabus, so it's something I expect that you know. So like rules that has to do with stress pattern, like a two-syllable word that is a noun, you know that your stress is going to be on the first syllable. For example, you have something like import. Import as a noun, the stress is going to be on the first syllable. Export as a noun, stress is going to be on the first syllable. So most nouns that are two-syllabic words, the rule is that the stress will be on the first syllable. While for most words that are verb that are two-syllable, the stress is going to be on the second syllable. So that's one rule for nouns, the other rule for verbs. Words that end in tion, cian, like that, their stress is going to be on the syllable before the tion. For example, communication, your K, like CA, is going to be the stress syllable before the shan. Like electrician, the tree before the shan, like that. There are rules like that. So those rules that can give you a hands-on and can help you conveniently do what you're supposed to do and just get your exact answer. You should start also revising your rules. This is not the time, 3 days to Jamb is not the time you should be carrying your big chemistry textbook, for example, new school chemistry, and you're reading. You should have been able to summarize that before now, so that what you're basically doing is a revision work, cross-checking your laws, cross-checking your formulas, trying your hands on questions, how these formulas can be applied. That is what I expect that you'll be doing right now. And then, if you've done all of this, the fourth thing I'm going to advise you to do. So the first thing is don't be anxious. The second thing is learn your formulas by heart and write them down. Third thing is learn your rules by heart and be able to write them down, and especially their mathematical representation, because that's where it's going to be applied. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to say is, when you eventually get to the hall, for science students, please and please, when you get to the hall, you have the tendency to just look at the question and start answering, but conveniently ensure your formulas are correct. Look at your instruction very carefully. People make that mistake a lot. So there are questions that they are supposed to do nearest the meaning, and then they are doing opposite the meaning. So look at your instruction, read your instructions very carefully, and ensure you work with them. If you do all of this, you should be good to go. It's just another exam. Do have a wonderful day. Thanks for staying to the end of this video, and success in your Jamb in the next 3 days.